Hi class, so this is the new subtopic and teacher had passed the note for you, and I hope everybody had copied the notes into notebook and already read. So here just a brief explanation for you. Okay, so inheritance is actually discussed about how some characteristic from the parent is passed down to the children or the offspring. Okay, macam mana ciri-ciri daripada ibu bapa boleh diwarisi oleh anak-anak dia. Okay, let's check. Do you have same eye color to your mother or father? It must be either from father or mother. Okay, or maybe your hair types. Is it same to your mother or your father? And another one, the shape of your earlobe. Is it same to your father or mother? Okay, everything usually will be same to our mother or father. Okay, the characteristics. Right. So here for this subtopic there are two terms that you need to understand and differentiate, which are the characteristic and traits. Okay, so to differentiate these two, we can see here some example of characteristic for you: tongue rolling ability, eye color, and head types. And the traits are the variants for these characteristics. Okay, for example, tongue rolling ability only have two traits, which are ability to roll the tongue and inability to roll the tongue. There is no more different than these two. And then the eye color have many different traits. For example, black, brown, blue, green, gray, and so on. So that are the traits. And hair types, example, curly hair and straight hair. Hair color characteristic, what are the traits? Dark, black, or blonde. Okay, that's some example. All right, so now we can differentiate already about the characteristic and traits. And this trait, each of these traits is controlled by an allele. Okay, so what is allele? Recall back homologous chromosome. What is that again? Homologous chromosome? Two chromosomes which have same or similar shape and sizes. Okay, let's see here. Teacher have two homologous chromosome, and you can see here these two look like mirror image to each other. Okay, so what is allele? Allele is a pair of genes, means that two genes which is located at the same position. Okay, let's see for these two. One gene, two gene. These two genes are located at the same position in this chromosome and this chromosome. So these two genes combined together, they known as allele. Okay, these two genes also in the same position, so they are allele. These two allele. Okay, and this allele maybe it carry information of the hair color, and this one maybe carry information about the or carry the traits about the hair types, and this one maybe carry the traits or information or the gene on the blood type. Okay, so these are example of allele. Two genes at the same position on two homologous chromosome. That is allele. Okay, so allele it control one trait. Sorry. So here examples of the trait, and it can be found in dominant and recessive form. Okay, dominant, recessive. Dominant, it will show the characteristic, and usually because it is dominant, we represent by capital letter. And then recessive allele, the traits will be hidden, or recessive allele only show characteristic when there is no dominant allele, and it is represented by small letter. Okay, capital letter, small letter, we can choose any letter we wish as long as it is capital and small. Okay, here are some example of dominant and recessive traits in human. Let's discuss this. Alright, so ability or able to roll the tongue is the dominant trait. Usually this will be shown, the trait that will be shown, and recessive trait, it will be hidden, inability to roll the tongue. Okay, so because it is dominant trait, usually, let's say ability to roll the tongue, we choose one letter. So teacher choose one letter, capital T, and teacher choose T. So capital T for this dominant trait. Remember, trait is controlled by an allele, and an allele consists of two genes. So we need to represent by two letters. Okay. And recessive trait, inability to roll the tongue, is recessive. So recessive, because this is dominant, we choose capital T. This one recessive, then we represent with small t. Okay, what if these two combine together? Let's say capital T and small t. So now it will show which characteristic. Of course, it will show this capital T, which is dominant trait. Then the combination of small and capital letter here, it will show the characteristic of capital letter, the dominant trait. Okay. Alright, another example here, tall body. Tall body is dominant, so we represent by capital letters. Teacher choose T here, so capital letters T. T capital. And for the short, we didn't use small s. We use T also. Then we represent with small t. Okay, same letter, but dominant, capital, and recessive, small letters. Okay, some of the example here for physical characteristic, you can see dimple is the dominant trait and no dimple is recessive trait. And many of us have recessive trait for this. Okay, and right-handed person is dominant and left-handed is recessive trait. Okay, all of these are example of physical characteristic. These two are not physical characteristics because these two cannot be seen by the eyes, but still we can divide. For example, let's say characteristic blood type. Traits A, B, O, and AB. Okay, so A and B blood type can be categorized, or A and B blood types are the dominant trait and O blood type is recessive trait. Okay, how does AB occur? Alright, so maybe we will discuss about that later. Alright, and also tone deafness here. Tone deafness is the dominant trait and recessive trait is normal hearing. That are example of dominant and recessive. Okay, and then now Gregor Mendel, this person, alright, this is very important person because he is the first one to discover the inheritance mechanism. The inheritance mechanism can be written as this diagram lah. Okay, this mechanism. Okay, so to find out or to study about that, he used pure breeding pea plants in the experiment on monohybrid cross. Means that he crossed two pure breeding pea plants that have two different traits. Okay, and monohybrid cross is the research only by choosing one characteristic at a time, and he chose this characteristic. Okay, so this one is the characteristic. What are the traits for this? Tall or short? Okay, but this time we didn't use the word short, alright, but we used the word dwarf. It's the same. Okay, let's see the schematic diagram that had been discovered by Gregor. Okay, so there are two terms here. You can see phenotypes and genotypes. Oh, before that, please correct this for me. It's not breeding. Breeding is roti. Okay, betul kan ini? Pure breeding and breeding. Okay, here breeding. Sorry, breeding. B-R-E-D-I-N-G. Okay, correct that. Alright. So in this mechanism or in this diagram, first we will write the phenotypes. Okay, phenotypes from the parent. What is phenotypes? Phenotypes, all right. Phenotypes is the physical characteristic or the characteristics. Okay, and genotypes, gene is the genetic information. Genetic information we got from the allele. Okay, remember 2 capital letter, 2 small letter, or combination for both capital and small letters. Genotypes. Okay, phenotypes, it is known, or the information will be given to us. Okay, so for the fertilization process to occur, it's involved 2 parents. Alright, so here are the 2 parents to get new plants or new offspring of the plants. Okay, the first breeding is tall. This is the phenotype, physical characteristic. It is tall. Okay, so tall is the dominant. Remember, tall is dominant trait. So it must be represented by using capital letter because it is pure. Then capital T and capital T for tall because tall is dominant. Okay, and then another plant, the second plant is the pure dwarf. Okay, because dwarf is the recessive trait, then we represent by small t. Okay, when here T, here must be T also. We cannot combine two different letters. Only one letter involved, right?